Ruben Amorim has banished Rashford, Garnacho, Antony, and Sancho from the U.S. tour. They're already the 4 Bluffeteers. They have been banned. Now, look, this is interesting because ultimately, should these players who are on the outs at Manchester United come on tour? In the past, we have seen them go on tour. Ruben Amorim saying no. So I don't necessarily think that this is a bad thing, but does this help United sell them at any attractive valuation? No. And that's really the core problem. But would United do that anyway? Who knows? Sir, what's your take on Ruben Amorim banning Rashford, Sancho, Antony, and Garnacho on the preseason tour?
I like 75% of it. I understand why you would want to have Rashford and Antony and Sancho be separate, given the fact that those players were loaned out when we were desperate for goals mid-season last year. Now, the whole Alejandro Garnacho case, I think, has been poorly handled. You know, he's clearly like a little bit of a hothead. You know, maybe the brothers leaning in too much. But at the end of the day, if you look at last season, he was performing like, okay, from an offensive standpoint, 2 top performers, clear as dust, were like Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo. But you know, a big gap behind that is Alejandro Garnacho. He did show a lot of promise, and I think the fact to lump him in with these 3 others is a mistake. It's a mistake in your ability to sell, and it's a mistake if you cannot sell, because then all of a sudden he was frozen out. And then what? We're gonna take a cut rent deal on fucking Alejandro Garnacho, who's like 20 years old, Argentinian. The same way we would Jadon Sancho, who can't stay fit for any club. It's like, I just think this is kind of crazy. I hope it's not true, because we're not gonna be able to sell Alejandro Garnacho in the next 3-4 weeks for preseason. So I like the other 3 because you have to push them out, but the Garnacho one, I don't like that.
We talked about the mountain that Amorim has to climb next season and how it's getting taller, and I feel like adding Garnacho to this list makes that mountain taller. It makes it harder to climb. I also, to a certain extent, Antony, it makes that harder to climb. Why wouldn't you say, okay, the real bad blood is Sancho and Rashford? You leave them to train knowing we have to do deals for them. You bring a Garnacho, you bring Antony at preseason training, and you say, look, Antony did well at Betis. We're looking at bringing him back. That might give you leverage in the transfer market. I don't understand why. And like, I would like if I was behind the scenes as a DOF, I'd be like, put out a fake article. Garnacho, Amorim, boys.
Yeah, honestly, it'd be smart.
Have him come on tour.
He works so hard in training.
Just be like, hey, Garnacho, you want to leave? This is what you need to do. Right. We got to put out this thing. We have to play coy. Then we'll get an offer. That gives us posture to negotiate. Why is United so transparent in how, like, it's going to be harder to move these players on, leave them out, than it would be if we kind of like bluffed a little bit that they were back. Like, especially Antony, he didn't fall out with the manager. Like, and there's no real offer. Like, if there was a real offer on the table, you know, we might not know about the deals. So another reason to keep them back would be like, if there are active deals going on for these players, you would leave them back. So that could be a reason, but you're getting into speculation. But Antony, I've heard nothing. And if we don't get paid, he should come back at United. Because
play wing back.
Who are we signing?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are we signing? Nobody. So we're getting rid of all 4. We have not signed a striker. We have not signed a replacement for these players. Like, at the end of the day, like, what is the game plan? Ahmad got injured. We got rid of Antony, and we were screwed. Like, if Ahmad goes down, you need Antony or you need Garnacho, right? Like, imagine we didn't have Garnacho. And right now we're cutting him out. So this kind of stinks for the fans in the preseason tour, but United just seems so discombobulated. Like, the postseason tour, the way we deal with these, like, falling out with extra players when we already have to move on all these guys on these horrible contracts with these wages. And then, you know what I think we're going to do? We're just going to have them train by themselves all summer until the last day where we sell them for cut rate deals that we wouldn't accept now, but we're eventually going to, like, we have to move on. Jadon Sancho for free. Pay his wages, you can have him. Like, just get rid of him. Like, you have to just make these hard decisions. And Jim Ratcliffe has not been good at making these hard decisions just yet. Like, the Sancho deal to Chelsea was a perfect example of a hard decision. Instead of selling him for $10 million, they tried to go for the 20 in this over-engineered contract that absolutely sucked, which is why he's back, and nobody wants to pay that contract. And so at the end of the day, United's got to start making some real deals and start cutting these players out, especially if the manager is, because they're on the books at United. Is absolutely killing us.
And you got to cut your losses, because we're not going to be able to get the value that they think Manchester United is, that they think they're worth. And at this point, even if that means that we have less reinforcements, in terms of cash to deploy elsewhere for other targets for Ruben Amorim, you need to get the personalities out because it's a fucking distraction to still be dealing with Jadon Sancho after all these years. That'll go down as one of the worst transfers as well.
It's a joke. It's,
No,
like,
you
by
just
the
have
way,
to,
professionally,
Donnie Van de
I'd
Beek,
be-
you have to cut the rope and be like, we'll give it to you for for a fucking ham sandwich and a bag of, like a stack of magazines. Like,
I
take
would
'em.
literally pay all of his wages and say, see you later. Like, I would literally
Who?
say,
Which one?
I'd pay Sancho, here's a check.
Yeah, fuck off.
Ending your contract early. Like, that option I would take because the locker room
It's
and
important.
the press and the dynamics is so bad that eventually you just got to be like, it's over. Like, United just hanging on for these like coins at the end of the day. Now look at this one. This is what happens when you don't
Not
deal with
good.
it.
Not
This is what
good,
happens
bro.
when you don't try to like say, hey, Garnacho, you're leaving, but you and the manager, you got to keep the optics tight. Who's running the show at Manchester United when Garnacho is now wearing the Rashford 9 Villa?
The Villa.
He went from like
Fucking bad, dude.
hardworking young prospect at United to absolute heel turn in 30 days. Like, how does this possible? Like, we ruin players at United. Like Amorim has come in as a manager, and look, Erik ten Hag, he kicked out Cristiano Ronaldo. Like the amount of players Erik ten Hag decided to kick out of this team. Did we get better? Well, I think we know how that went. Ruben Amorim now is adding to the list of players. You think he'd get along with someone who Erik ten Hag didn't get along with, at least, and bring new people into the fold? No, he's adding to the list. Now it's Garnacho. Look, the players have issues. United's not great. You can blame them, but at the end of the day, like, they're under contract. They make a lot of money. United don't have other options. And now we're having like public social media feuds with players, kind of this, the four Bluffeteers ganging up on Manchester United. And United, this is the last thing that you ultimately want to see.